The text woke me at 5:47 a.m. on a Tuesday. Emma, good news. Mom and Dad gave me your house. I'm moving in next week. Emma, Mom says you owe us for everything they spent raising you. The house makes us even. Dad, we've decided Emma needs the house more than you do. She has a family. You're single. Be grateful we let you live there this long, Mom. We'll help you find a nice apartment. But the house goes to Emma. It's only fair after all we've invested in you. I sat up in bed, staring at my phone in the pre-dawn darkness. My parents had never contributed a single dollar to the purchase, the down payment, or any of the mortgage payments over the past 5 years. But they de-kept the spare key I'd given them 3 years ago when they de-watched my house while I was on a work trip. I typed 2 letters. Okay, then I called the county recorder's office. I need to verify ownership records for a property. I told the clerk when she answered at 8:02 a.m. And I need certified copies of the deed, mortgage documents, and complete chain of title going back 10 years. That's public record. Are you the property owner? Yes, and I'm being told someone else now owns my house. I need documentation proving otherwise. We can have that ready by this afternoon. Will you be picking it up or should we send it to an attorney? I'll pick it up. And please flag the property for any attempted fraudulent transfer. If anyone tries to change the deed or file any ownership claims, I want to be notified immediately. I can add an alert to the record. Is this a potential fraud situation? Yes. After I hung up, I called my real estate attorney, David Brennan, who'd handled my home purchase 5 years ago. They told your sister they're giving her your house, David said when I explained. Yes. My sister texted at dawn announcing she's moving in next week. Yes, Jennifer. They can't give her a house they don't own. Do they have any legal claim to the property? 0. I bought it with my own down payment. I pay the mortgage from my own account. They've never contributed financially to anything related to this house. Do they have access to your property? They have an emergency key. I'm going to recommend you call the police and report a potential breaking and entering. If they're planning to move your sister in, they may be planning to physically occupy the property. That seems extreme, Jennifer. They told your sister they're giving her your house. That's not a casual comment, that's a plan. And if they execute that plan, getting them out legally could take months. Call the police now before they can claim any kind of occupancy rights. I called the non-emergency police line and explained the situation to the dispatcher, who connected me to Officer Thomas Warren. Let me make sure I understand, Officer Warren said. Your parents told your sister they're giving her your house, which you own, and she's planning to move in next week? Yes. And your parents have a key to the property? An emergency key, yes. Miss Chun, I'm going to recommend you meet me at your property. If they're planning what you're describing, we need to document this before they can claim they had permission to be there. I drove to my house at 9:15 a.m. to find Officer Warren already in the driveway. Behind him was a second cruiser with Officer Sarah Martinez. We'll do a walkthrough with you, Officer Warren said. Document the current state of the property. If anything changes after today, we'll have a baseline. I unlocked the front door and immediately knew something was wrong. The living room furniture had been rearranged. My bookshelf had been moved against a different wall. There were boxes stacked in the corner boxes I didn't recognize. Did you move these items? Officer Martinez asked. No, we walked through the house. In the master bedroom, my clothes had been moved from the closet to the guest room. The master closet was filled with women's clothes. I didn't recognize Emma's clothes. In what had been my home office, someone had set up a child's bedroom, a toddler bed, a toy chest, a changing table. Emma has a 2-year-old, I said numbly. They've already started moving her in. Officer Warren was photographing everything. When was the last time you were here? Yesterday morning. I stayed at my boyfriend's last night. So this happened in less than 24 hours? Yes. We found more evidence throughout the house. Emma's kitchen items mixed with mine. Her towels in the bathroom. A list on the refrigerator in my mother's handwriting. E's furniture arrives Thursday. M's stuff goes to storage Saturday. M was me. They'd already scheduled a moving truck to remove my belongings. This is breaking and entering, Officer Martinez said. They used your key to access the property without permission and began moving in another person's belongings. No, That's criminal trespassing at minimum. What are my options? I asked. We can file charges now based on what we're seeing. Or you can wait to see if they actually attempt to occupy the property. But Miss Chan, they're already halfway moved in. If you wait, this gets messy, eh? File charges, I said. While the officers documented everything, I drove to the county recorder's office and picked up the certified documents. Then I drove to David Brennan's office. He reviewed the deed, mortgage, and property records. This is as clear as it gets. You're the sole owner. Your name only on the deed. Your name only on the mortgage. 5 years of mortgage payments from your account. Your parents have zero legal claim. They told Emma they're giving her the house. They can't give what they don't own. But Jennifer, the fact that they've already started moving her in suggests they not planning to ask for your permission. They planning to present you with a fait accompli and count on you being too conflict-averse to fight back. He pulled out his phone. I'm calling a locksmith right now. We're changing every lock on your property today. And I am drafting a cease and desist letter to your parents and your sister, making it explicitly clear that any further entry to the property will result in criminal prosecution. The locksmith arrived at my house at 2:30 p.m. While he was changing the locks, my phone started buzzing. Mom, why are the police at your house? Emma, did you call the cops on Mom and Dad? What is wrong with you? Dad, the officers said we're being charged with breaking and entering. This is insane. We're your parents, Mom. How dare you, after everything we've done for you? I didn't respond. Instead, I forwarded all the messages to David and Officer Warren. David's cease and desist letter was delivered by courier at 4:15 p.m. to my parents' house and Emma's apartment. It was 4 pages long and included certified copies of the property deed showing me as sole owner mortgage documents showing me as sole borrower 5 years of mortgage payment records from my bank account. Photos of the unauthorized entry and moved belongings a formal demand that all entry to the property cease immediately. A warning that any further trespassing would result in immediate arrest. A notification that criminal charges had been filed. My mother's response came via her own attorney 2 hours later. The letter claimed they had an implied ownership interest because they contributed to my success by raising me, and that the house was family property that should be shared. David's response was brutal in its simplicity. Your clients contributed $0 to the purchase, down payment, or ongoing costs of the property. They have no ownership interest, implied or otherwise. Raising a child is a legal obligation, not an investment that entitles parents to their adult child's assets. That evening, Emma showed up at my house with her husband Kyle. The new locks meant she couldn't get in. She pounded on the door. Jennifer, open up, we need to talk about this. I called 911. There are people attempting to force entry to my property. I have a restraining order pending and they're violating it. The police arrived within 6 minutes. Emma was crying, explaining to the officers that this was a family misunderstanding and that her mother had told her the house was hers. Do you have any documentation showing ownership? Officer Martinez asked her. Well, no, but my mom said, your mother doesn't own this property. She can't transfer what she doesn't own. You're trespassing. Emma looked at me through her tears. How can you do this? I have a child. I need this house. Then buy your own house, I said. This one is mine. She was escorted from the property with a warning that if she returned, she'd be arrested. The criminal case moved forward. My parents were charged with breaking and entering, criminal trespassing, and attempted fraud for trying to transfer property they didn't own. Emma was charged as an accessory for knowingly participating in the occupation of the property. All 3 were arrested the next day. Bail was set at $20,000 each. They couldn't make it. My parents had spent their retirement savings on a vacation home they couldn't afford. Emma and Kyle were drowning in credit card debt. None of them could come up with the bail money. They spent 4 days in jail before my uncle Peter, my father's brother, bailed them out and reportedly gave them a lecture that made my mother cry. Uncle Peter called me afterward. I paid the bail because I couldn't stand the thought of them in jail, he said. But Jennifer, what they did was criminal. Your grandmother would be appalled. Did they explain their side? They tried. Your mother insisted you basically owed them the house because of everything they'd spent raising you. I asked her if she had that agreement in writing. She didn't. No, she wouldn't. I've watched your parents be financially irresponsible for years. But this, he sighed. Breaking into your house and moving Emma in, that's not poor judgment. That's crime. Over the next month, while the criminal case progressed, my family launched a comprehensive smear campaign. My mother posted on Facebook, heartbroken. My daughter had her own parents arrested for trying to help family. When did we raise such a selfish person? The post got 312 likes and hundreds of sympathetic comments. Emma posted a tearful video holding her daughter. My sister has a 3-bedroom house she barely uses. I asked if my family could stay there and she called the police. This is what family has become. The video was shared 127 times. My father sent emails to every relative explaining how I was hoarding resources while my sister's family struggled. How I'd overreacted to a simple family arrangement. How I'd destroyed the family over a property dispute. 49 relatives received this email. 32 responded with support for my parents. 18 blocked me on social media. But 17 reached out privately with different stories. Cousin Rachel, your parents asked to borrow $25,000 from us last year for emergency medical expenses. We found out they used it for a kitchen renovation. Never got paid back, Uncle Peter. I've lent your parents over $60,000 in the past decade. They've repaid exactly $0. Aunt Michelle, Emma asked me to co-sign a lease for her 2 years ago. I said no. She didn't speak to me for 8 months. The pattern was clear. My parents had been financially irresponsible for years, and they'd raised Emma to have the same entitlement. David subpoenaed phone records and emails. What he found was damning. My parents had been planning this for 3 months. There were emails discussing how they'd transfer the house to Emma and how I'd eventually accept it because family is family. There were texts about timing the move for when I'd be least likely to be home. There was a particularly revealing email from my mother to Emma. Don't worry. Once you're living there, Jennifer won't kick out her own sister and niece. She's too nice. We just need to get you moved in completely. Then she have no choice but to accept it. The law favors occupants. They'd researched squatters' rights. They'd planned to establish Emma as an occupant, then claim she had a right to stay. The prosecutor, a man named Robert Hayes, was not sympathetic. They researched how to steal your house, he told me. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was premeditated theft of a $285,000 asset. The evidence was overwhelming. The unauthorized entry, the systematic moving of belongings, the emails showing months of planning, the attempt to establish occupancy before I could object. The plea deal came 10 weeks after the arrests. My parents pled guilty to criminal trespassing and attempted fraud. Sentences: 3 years probation, $35,000 restitution for legal fees and security costs, mandatory financial counseling, and a 5-year restraining order preventing them from coming within 1,000 feet of my property. Emma got 2 years probation and 250 hours community service for her participation. The restitution would be paid at $500 monthly for 5 years and 10 months. The family fallout was brutal. About 70% of my relatives cut me off. Multiple aunts and uncles stopped speaking to me. At my cousin's wedding 6 months later, entire tables fell silent when I entered. But 30% supported me. Uncle Peter, you did what you had to do. Your grandmother left you money specifically so you could buy that house. Your parents had no right to take it, Cousin Rachel. I've watched your parents and Emma take advantage of people for years. You're the first person to hold them accountable. My grandmother's sister, Aunt Rose, called me on my birthday. Your grandmother saved for 30 years to leave you that inheritance, she told me. She wanted you to have security. She'd be proud you protected it. That was 13 months ago. I've completely reclaimed my house. I removed every trace of Emma's attempted occupation. I renovated the office back from the nursery they'd created. I replaced the furniture they'd moved. It's mine again. Fully, completely, unmistakably mine. I'm engaged now to the boyfriend whose house I'd stayed at the night my family broke in. Marcus proposed in the living room they'd tried to steal, and we're planning to start our life together in the house I fought to keep. The restitution payments arrive monthly, $500, like clockwork. I put every payment into a home improvement fund. So far, I've used their money too. Asterisk install a comprehensive security system, $7,200. Asterisk renovate the kitchen, $14,500. Asterisk finish the basement, $11,800. Asterisk landscape the backyard, $6,300. Every improvement makes the house more valuable, more beautiful, more mine. Emma, according to Uncle Peter, is struggling. She and Kyle are still renting, still drowning in debt, still making poor financial decisions. My parents downsized to a smaller house after legal fees depleted their savings. They're both working part-time to make the restitution payments. I don't feel guilty. The deed sits in my safe. Jennifer Marie Chun, sole owner. Every monthly payment reminds me that I chose myself. That I protected what I'd earned. That I stopped being the accommodating daughter and became the sole owner of my own life. My parents wanted me to believe that keeping my house made me selfish. That refusing to let them give it to Emma made me cruel. They were wrong. I protected what I built. I defended what I earned. I enforced boundaries that should never have needed enforcement. The house is mine. The life I'm building here is mine. And nobody can take that away from me.